What's going on, metalheads? You're watching Heavy Metal Television. I'm Whiplash. I'm going to play you a bunch of songs from bands I just saw out at the Ozfest meets Knotfest. I went out to LA, spent 2 days moshing in the dust with a bunch of Southern Californians, and let me tell you something, it was awesome. For the most part, and we'll get to the negatives a little later. First, though, let's start off with one of the early bands in the outdoor stages. This is Cataclysm. Okay, headbangers, we're back on Heavy Metal Television. It's Whiplash giving you the report on Ozfest meets Knotfest out in Los Angeles this week. Went there and moshed it up with everybody, got some bruises, had some good times. This is one of my favorite bands that I got to see out on the small stages. This is Brujeria. Man, what a wicked pit these guys had. Anyway, check them out. This is Colas de Rata. Hey, you're back on Heavy Metal Television. I'm Whiplash, telling everybody about my experiences at Ozfest meets Knotfest this week. You know, when I first found out about it, there were a bunch of bands that were listed that ended up not actually being on the show. Unfortunately, Death Angel wasn't there. Children of Bodom was supposed to be there, and they weren't. There's a couple others that are escaping my brain right now. But this one, Municipal Waste, I'm going to play for you right now. I actually had to miss them because they were on the Nuclear Blast stage at the same time that Suicidal Tendencies was on one of the other stages. And I'm suicidal from way back, so... But I'm going to play it for you right now. So this is Municipal Waste. Whiplash back with you here on Heavy Metal Television, talking about Ozfest meets Knotfest this week. So there were a few bands there that I had seen a million times. I think this was the 25th time I had seen Slayer, for example. But there were some other bands that I have gotten turned on to just in the last year or so, and I hadn't gotten to see yet. And this is one of them. This was probably my favorite new surprise band on this whole thing. This is Goat Whore. Amazing band. Check them out. Hey, Whiplash back with you here on Heavy Metal Television. So, talking about my Ozfest meets Knotfest experience this week. You know, I don't get Devil Driver. I think they're okay, but I think they're fairly generic. But there's one thing I have noticed, and that is that you out there in Metal Land love Devil Driver. Every time I've accidentally seen them open for somebody else or on a festival, people go ape for Devil Driver. So, give the people what they want. Here's some Devil Driver for you. We're back on Heavy Metal Television. You're watching Whiplash, and I'm telling you all about my Southern California concert experience this week at Ozfest meets Knotfest. So, Suicidal Tendencies was added when they first announced this tour, or this festival I should say. They didn't have Suicidal on there. They added Suicidal, and man, I cannot see Suicidal Tendencies enough. They got kind of a new lineup. It's still the same guitar player and always Mike Mura on vocals, but everybody else is new, and they tore it up. So here's their opening song, You Can't Bring Me Down. Hey, it's Whiplash back here with you on Heavy Metal Television with my special Ozfest meets Knotfest show. So, day one, finished with all the side stage bands, moved into the main arena, or amphitheater, whatever you want to call it, for the main bands. First up, Black Label Society. I suppose if you're going to have Ozzy in the house, you're going to have Zakk Wylde in the house these days. Here's some Black Label Society for you. So, Ozfest meets Knotfest. Opeth was one of the bands on there. Opeth songs, if you know anything about them, they're long. They're real long. And I'm sitting there thinking, how much of a show can Opeth really give on a festival? We're probably only going to see 2 songs. And I was a little worried because if you know anything about Opeth, they went from all death metal vocals to kind of a mixture of singing and death metal vocals to eliminating the death metal vocals completely, and now they just sing. And Michael Ackerfeld has been saying in interviews lately that he finds death metal vocals to be silly. They kind of got him where he is, but, you know, that's what he says. So I was worried that we were just going to see 2 songs off the new album, and that would be it. But I was wrong. They played all kinds of old stuff, they played several songs, and death metal vocals abounded. It was great. Here's some Opeth. This is Whiplash, you're watching Heavy Metal Television, And we're talking Ozfest meets Knotfest, the festival they just had in the Los Angeles area this week. It was awesome. There was a lot of great bands, a lot of them played some really great sets, and then the second day came, but we'll get to that. First day, Megadeth. I had just seen Megadeth in February in Vegas, and I gotta be honest, it was a terrible show. Dave was totally off his game, and it made me actually wonder if he's on the sauce again. He missed lyrics, and it was just terrible, so I was a little worried to see what Megadeth was going to be like on Ozfest meets Knotfest. But Megadeth brought it. They were awesome, amazing show, played a great set full of great song choices. This is one of the songs they played. This is Peace Sells. I'm Whiplash, and you're watching my special Ozfest meets Knotfest show here on Heavy Metal Television. So, main stage, first day. Black Sabbath, obviously the headliner. It's my second time seeing them in 4 days since I went to see them in Phoenix as well. I'm not going to play any Black Sabbath on this show because my entire last show was all Black Sabbath. So, let's end with the second to last band. This is another one of those bands where I can dig them for about 10 minutes, but unfortunately they played for over an hour. But I know a lot of you like them, so here they are. This is Disturbed. Hey metal fans, Whiplash here on Heavy Metal Television. I'm talking all about Ozfest meets Knotfest. That was the festival I went to in the Los Angeles area this weekend, and it was amazing. I know some of you went out there. I ran into some friends from Phoenix, and when I say ran into, I seriously mean ran into, like in the pit, at this band. This is Overkill, some old school East Coast thrash metal for you. Check it out. Hey, we're back on the Ozfest meets Knotfest Whiplash show here on Heavy Metal Television. So, the minor stages, I guess. I keep wanting to say outdoor stages, but all the stages were outdoors. The minor stages were rocking the whole weekend, both days. Incredible bands. People really get into it in Southern California. Huge mosh pits, and I'll tell you why a Southern California mosh pit kicks ass. Everybody gets in. See, I go to shows in Phoenix all the time, and a lot of the pits are lame. You get 7 or 8 big boys in there trying to hurt people, and everybody else stays out. You get people who are like, oh, I'm too old for that, whatever. And in Tucson, the pits are just pathetic. I've seen all kinds of shows where there isn't even a pit. I went to see Exodus, no pit. They're playing the Toxic Waltz about the pit, and there's no pit. But in California, everybody goes in. Big people, small people, men, women, boys, girls. It's everybody. There's skinheads and athletes and long-haired thrash guys with patch-covered jackets. There's old people, young people, big people, small people. Everybody gets in the pit, and because of that, it's awesome. It's fun. Nobody gets hurt. It's a good time. Learn a lesson from California, Arizona. Anyways, this is one of the side stage bands. This is Suicide Silence. Alright, Whiplash here with you on Heavy Metal Television. Talking about Ozfest meets Knotfest. We're on the second day. The first day was amazing. Ozzy sounded good, even though apparently he was sick. The whole day was just fantastic. The morning, the early afternoon, out on the side stages of the second day, also absolutely spectacular. Then, we go into the lawn for the main show. Motionless in White was the first main band, and the venue screwed up the sound so that there was a giant echo. The delay towers were off, so you could not understand anything they played. Yet, they didn't fix it, and they let Motionless in White play their entire set. It was an hour late. We're looking at the schedule going, how is Slipknot going to play the entire Iowa album? Somebody's going to get cut. Trivium comes up next. Rather than fix the sound, they cut the delay speakers, so there's no speakers anywhere near us on the lawn. The only speakers were up on the stage. It sounded like we were listening to the radio off in the distance. Terrible. I love Trivium, but it was really difficult to watch that. So here's some Trivium that you won't have any problem hearing. Alright, so back to the Ozfest meets Knotfest second day. The speakers are screwed up. They turn off all the speakers instead of fixing it, except for the ones up on the stage. So us back on the lawn, we're hearing it off in the distance. Crazy. Plus they're an hour late. we don't know who's going to get cut. Well, Anthrax comes up next, and they got cut. They played 5 songs. That's it. Next up, Amon Amarth. I had never seen Amon Amarth. I was super excited for this band. They built an actual Viking ship in the middle of their stage, put the drums on the ship, the big dragon headstock and everything. It was amazing. They had sword fights between Vikings on stage. The thing was incredible. If you haven't seen Amon Amarth, you have to see Amon Amarth. My only complaint is, San Manuel Amphitheater as a venue, you suck. Fix your sound. Hey, Whiplash back here on Heavy Metal Television. You're getting to the end of my show. I've only got a couple more blocks to play for you, and I am going through what I experienced in LA this week at the Ozfest meets Notfest. So, second to last, Slayer. I can't say enough about how awesome these guys are, especially now with Gary Holt in the band. It's like refreshed, new blood, new energy. Their new album is awesome. I was ready for this band, and they came on an hour late. They came on with the speakers all shut off because they couldn't get the echo under control. San Manuel Amphitheater sucks, and as God is my witness, I will never go back to that venue. This has been my second bad experience at that venue. I love concerts in LA, I love the people in LA, but that venue can suck it. Anyway, I saw Slayer about this big, off in the distance, and it sounded off in the distance, which is not the way to see that band. They were still amazing, even with their short set. They only played 8 songs. What are you gonna do? Here's some Slayer for you. Okay, metalheads, you've reached the end of another Whiplash show. I've been talking all about my experience at Ozfest meets Notfest this week. The last band, of course, Slipknot. It's their festival. Well, magically, when Slipknot came on, the speakers that had been turned off for the entire show finally got turned on, and the echo was gone, and Slipknot sounded the way a concert's supposed to sound. I don't know why they couldn't figure that out for Anthrax, Amon Amarth, Slayer, but they didn't. So, we had a good Slipknot show. Slipknot was supposed to be done at 10:55. They started at 10:25, and they were supposed to play the entire Iowa album. So we were all wondering if they were going to cut it short, if they were going to do something different, but nope. They played the entire Iowa album, kept us there past 12:30 at night, and then, of course, it takes 2 hours to get out of the parking lot at San Manuel Amphitheater. The other thing about it is, the last track on Iowa, is like 15 minutes of just noise and Corey Taylor writhing around on the floor and screaming while the clown bangs on a drum. I could have done without that. They could have played Wait and Bleed or a couple other songs to fill that time, but hey, overall, they played a great set like they always do. It sounded good, and a great time was had by all. So, if you ever get a chance to go see a festival in Los Angeles or any other show in Los Angeles, I suggest you do it because California, you guys know how to do it. Here's some Slipknot for you. I will see you on my next show.